What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is YOLO My IRA, aka FAM, and today is the first installment of YOLO-ing my IRA. Now, what this channel is essentially about is just going to be a portfolio update, mini docu-series, whatever you want to call it, of me YOLOing my IRA to become a millionaire. Now, you might be thinking, fam, that is crazy. You should not be touching your retirement money. Now, I hear you. It's probably not the smartest thing. However, it is the more fun thing. And obviously, none of this is financial advice. This is purely for entertainment and the personal journey I'm going to be going through. Now, without further ado, let's just jump right into the first portfolio update as of right now. And you can see we're sitting off at a pretty, okay spot. If we're purely looking at the graph, I can explain it. It's not looking the best. If we go out the 1 year, you can see dramatic drop right here. And let's just specifically look at the year to date. Now, before January 21st, 22nd, I was purely 100% invested into an index fund, which was FSCAX, which is the Fidelity Total Market Index Fund. Beautiful. It was beautiful. I had like 30% returns since I started investing in it, and I've been maxing out my contributions since 2019. So I had, prior to or not including the 2021 contributions, I had 12,000 of my contributions in that index fund, and that grew to about $16,500. Now, this is when I did the very dumb / smart decision, depending on how you want to look at it, and decided to sell 100% of that index fund and dump it all into BlackBerry. And essentially, that rode me up to an unrealized portfolio balance of $31,600 in a week, and that is pretty solid. Now, this is where I got too blinded by the greed, and I did not sell because I essentially doubled my account value in less than a week. And also, if you're paying attention to the dates, this is January 27th. This is when I reached my peak portfolio value of unrealized gains, mind you. The next day, that is when Robinhood fiasco kind of happened, and that immediately tanked my account to $18,000. And this is also the same time when I decided to sell half of my BlackBerry holdings and dump $15,000 into GameStop. Another poor or very smart decision, depending how you look at it. So my GameStop initial cost basis was $330, and my BlackBerry cost basis at the time was about $12, $12.50 I think, which was pretty decent. And since then, it has basically declined because I essentially went through some emotional turmoil, which is this was the first time it's ever happened to me, I'll be honest. Ever since I started 2 years ago, we all experienced the March 23rd turmoil. I barely blinked an eye on when most of my holdings were in the red, but at the same time, that is also the same instance when I decided to buy a lot of my new holdings, so maybe I didn't really experience that emotional turmoil as I did right now with losing or seeing a position be down 5 figures for when I initially bought in. So, call me what you want, but I did paper hand my GameStop position for a $12,000 realized loss, mind you. And obviously, since then, we know how GameStop turned out. If I just held another month, I would have just broke even, if not have been down only about $2,000 or $3,000. But essentially, this is where we're starting now. I've kind of jumped in and out of certain positions here and there because of how I was feeling on how I wanted to YOLO some certain things. So as of right now, these are our positions. I'm holding BlackBerry, GameStop, and also a penny stock called HITI. HITI is essentially my long-term, very promising hold, especially in the weed industry. BlackBerry is going to be semi-long hold, depending on how I feel. I'm just going to be selling covered calls on them at about a 20% out of the money premium. And if I do get called away on them, that is perfectly fine. Like I said before, Roth IRA allows me to be a little bit more easy on how I want to gain my money because I don't have to pay taxes on them, but at the same time, I still gotta be smart. And lastly, this is my big tuna gamble with GameStop. I bought back in perfectly at the peak. You know, I am very skilled at buying at the peak, especially the second time around. Maybe I'm just that good. I did warn people I was buying, so they should probably sell. And 10 minutes later, it dropped to about $198 after I literally just bought at $330. But what can you say? This thing is going to 400. I'll be honest, if it goes over 400 again, I might be tempted to sell just to realize some gains, so that way it's not going to be a GameStop 2.0 and I face some emotional turmoil once again. Like I said, I'm young, I'm still training my temperament, my emotional detachment away from looking at stocks, but I'm very confident, at least in what I buy. And whether or not I timed it right, ultimately I did have the right intention. But for the time being, we are YOLOing it in BlackBerry, GameStop, and High Tide. Concentration beats diversity. Let's go. Next week we will see how things play out, and I have high hopes that by the time I do another update, we will be lovely in the green. And you know, I'm just hoping that we can make at least 20k pretty soon. That's pretty much it in regards to this channel. We're just going to be very chill. It's essentially going to be a journal, a diary of my Roth IRA and the gains that we are making throughout the rest of the year and the future. So yeah, feel free to stay tuned until next week when I give another portfolio update. See ya.